as though they need something as a lifter. It's Knights. Can he kick his fourth, third goal? He gets inside, well inside 50. This will bring the house down if you don't line up fire. It's a goal to Matthew Knights.
Chips it to Long. Bond comes in, does it magnificently. Elliott couldn't control it. Dundas' little give to Bond. Here's a go. Bond to Maxfield. Go and kick the goal, Stewie. Straighten it up, bang it home. It's a beauty. They're in front the Tigers. O'Donnell's down behind play. Here's Campbell through the centre. Little one to centre half. Well, they weren't looking the Tigers. He gave it up. Hip and shoulder was okay. It goes forward. Nacy's a great finisher. He surely will kick the goal. He has. They're back. Takes the little flip on. Around Worsfold. Goes and goal. Oh, he's kicked another one. Miranda doesn't go far. Well, good snap. Great snap by Daffy. It's a goal.
Almost took the football with him. Now McMahon had it and then lost it. A snap round the body by Daffy. Oh, there's another one! The Tigers are on fire!
The birth of a new football team is a tumultuous moment for all concerned, but the 26,000 at the MCG on April Fool's Day may have been looking in the wrong direction. The debut of the AFL's 16th team, the Fremantle Dockers, was overshadowed by the re-emergence of the Tigers as a power side. Not that you'd know it from this footage. Quoted at 33-1 for the premiership and 13th favourite for the flag, according to the National Sportsbook, the Tigers struggled against the possession game of the Dockers. Poor kicking saw Richmond kick 6 goals from 19 scoring shots to half-time, but the message was there for all to see.
Knights has got it right on the 50, falling to the ground. Not a bad hand pass to Daffy, and Daffy's snap is good.
Daffy kicked 3 goals. Campbell gathered 22 kicks. Matty Knights, 13 hand passes. In the end, it was Richmond by a kick, but the statistically minded noted that it was Richmond's first opening round win since 1982. Into the side for the second round match at Waverley against St Kilda came David Burke, son of the 5-times premiership legend Francis Burke. But it would be another famous Tiger offspring who would star. Matty Richardson kicked 6 goals, and despite a goalless last term, Richmond won their second on end by 26 points. Only twice would Richmond be required to play at Waverley. In round 3, they were back, this time against Hawthorn in appalling conditions. On one of the wettest weekends of the year, the Tigers kicked 1 goal 11 until half-time, but thanks to the slippery conditions, were still in the game. Benny Gale kicked 2, Matty Richardson the other 2, and in the lowest scoring game of the year, Richmond made it 3 in a row, the margin 6 points. It was the first time in 16 meetings that the Tigers had triumphed over the Hawks, going back to 1985. Chairman of Selectors, Tony Jewell.
I think it meant a great deal to us. We hadn't beaten Hawthorn for a long time. I'm not quite sure the length of time, but we hadn't beaten Hawthorn for a lot of years. And we kept Dunstall down. Dunstall had kicked a lot of goals against us in previous occasions, and I think it was the first game against quality opposition that we'd proved ourselves. So I think it was, it really was an important milestone for us.
Suddenly, people were taking notice of Northie's young Tigers. On the Anzac Day round, the AFL scheduled 5 days of football, and for the first time, Monday night footy was a reality. 62,000 packed the MCG to see Richmond unleash a barrage of goals against North. 6 goals in 8 minutes, all but sewed up the points. Richmond kicked 9-2 in the first quarter. Daffy was just amazing.
Gale too tall, gets it to the front. Here they go again. Daffy's kicked his second goal. The Tigers have got 6.
This is unbelievable.
Up forward, the targets were presenting themselves. The bigger, stronger Matthew Richardson making a real mark for himself. He'd kicked 4.
Well, 12 goals, 1 to date. You've given him a rap. Oh, and he's kicked it. He has kicked it.
Alongside him, the towering Stewie Edwards. He too would kick 4 in a 49-point blitz.
Now, the charge is on. Edwards! Don't tell me he's kicked another one!
After 4 rounds, Richmond was in second position, unbeaten like ladder leaders Carlton.
Listen to that. That says it all.
Having beaten Hawthorn gave us that confidence to go up against North Melbourne, and we were well aware that it was a real test for us, and everyone was going to look at us and judge us on that performance. And again, we came through with flying colours, but I think that the Hawthorn was a catalyst for that win. I just think that they came off that Hawthorn game full of confidence.
A glance at the stats leaders gives an insight into Richmond's early season form. Matthew Richardson led the league in marks. Against Brisbane, he'd kicked 4 goals. Wayne Campbell was having a blinder. He was second only to Wayne Schwass in kicks. For the first time since 1942, Richmond won the first 5 games of a league season. This day, however, there would be a low light. Skipper Tony Free would injure his knee. He would face a knee reconstruction and miss the remainder of the season. The run continued against Collingwood, who were posting their worst start since 1942. Nearly 60,000 saw Richmond inspired by Matty Richardson. 10 marks, 18 kicks and 3 votes from the field umpires. The Tigers were on fire.
Richardson, the acrobat. Kelly is caught. The ball spills free. Hassel a chance. He handles it like grease light. Oh, Christensen smothered up the boot. This could result in a goal. Flicked round by Daffy. A very good kick by the Duck. Is a goal. How good is that?
6 straight, and that man Richardson in the news.
He's become one of the hottest properties in footy, and tomorrow we'll meet with prospective managers Ricky Nixon and the AFL's Craig Kelly. This year, after some goal-kicking tips from Michael Roach, Richardson has booted 21 goals 3.
I just used what Roachy said over the summer and just practiced a bit every night at training, and I suppose it's just come along. Also a bit of experience, I think.
Matthew Richardson is a beneficiary of perhaps the only sentiment left in football, the father-son rule. Alan Bull Richardson was an uncompromising ruck rover who played 102 games for the Tigers in the 60s. He wasn't fast or tall, but tough in the packs and quick with a handball.
It's Bull Richardson with what a great game this fellow's played tonight.
He's being coached by one of my best mates, Johnny Northey, and Johnny's doing a fantastic job with the team, and it really is good.
It meant a lot to me to play at Richmond. I always followed Richmond, and knowing that Dad had played here and looking through his old scrapbooks and that, I suppose, when I was young, it always gave me that spark to try and get over here.
And this week's Richmond record? Starting the season with 7 wins in a row for the first time since 1920.
A rainy Melbourne Friday night under lights. This time it would be Adelaide. Bullis came into the side to replace Deere, who'd injured his knee. It was a tight match, only a kick separating the teams at half-time. Richmond, though, by 14 points, Matty Knights taking the 3 Brownlow votes, and for the first time in 75 years, Richmond had opened with 7 wins in a row.
Everyone doubted us, and no doubt the opposition coaches would have tried to raise that feeling from their players' minds, but public opinion was so strong that we weren't quite good enough. It would have been a hard job, and I think it worked in our advantage, though.
If one man has caused Richmond heartache over recent years, then it's surely been Gary Ablett. In round 8, he was well held in the first half by Scotty Turner. In the second half, he exploded. 7 goals.
Ablett can't mark, but he might grab it. Oh, he's got it. Kicks a goal. Oh, he's kicked a miraculous goal for goal number 7, the champ.
65,000 were at the MCG for the blockbuster, a game that would perhaps give an indication as to Richmond's improvement. In 18 of the last 20 meetings, the Cats had been too good. This day, Richardson kicked 5 to take his season's tally to 27. The old worries about inaccurate kicking had disappeared. His 27 goals had come with only 3 behinds. Chris Naish kicked 4, and with Stuart Maxfield gave the Tigers great drive.
Oh, well played by Maxfield. He's on the boundary line. He sprints in the goal. If he's kicked that, that is a great goal. Tremendous goal.
After a competitive first half, the Cats ran away in the second to record a 12-goals win and end the streak at 7. Coincidentally, Carlton had ended its streak at the unlikely hands of Sydney the night before. It was to Sydney and the home of the Giant Killers that Richmond ventured the next week. It would be one of the most telling games of the season. It was this incident that put a severe dent on Richmond's premiership aspirations. Matthew Richardson crashing into the fence and tearing his anterior cruciate ligament. As he left the field, it was worth noting that he'd taken 60 marks, third in the competition, and kicked 27 goals to lie fifth on the goal-kicking tally. But more importantly for John Northey and his men, he was the classy focal point in attack. Stuart Wigney was playing for his 4th AFL club, but not even Premiership coach and chairman of the match committee, Tony Jewell, could have expected the quality of play he produced at centre-half back in 1995. He too was injured, an ankle, and he wouldn't reappear until the finals. On Brownlow night, he got some compensation with the 3 votes.
Especially when Richardson went down, we knew that was going to be a blow straight away, and being such a great player for us. But to get Wigney in the same game, I just thought, well, that your initial... Actually, when it happens during a game, you don't think about it. It's when after the game you really start to think about it. And I thought, well, those two, because Wigney had been a key player too. And so it was a great effort to overcome those 2 losses, and credit to John Northey and the boys.
At 3/4 time, the Tigers trailed by 3 points. Again, Scott Turner had been given the big job on Tony Lockett. There would be no getting off the hook for Plugger. He was held at 2-1, his lowest haul for the year. In a brilliant final quarter, 23,000 saw Richmond kick 7-6 to 3-1. Again, Daffy would chip in, 4 goals. Young Edwards kicked 4. And for the first time since round 22, 1982, the Tigers went to the top of the ladder with their 8-1 record. The Sydney Cricket Ground Trust set about fixing the ground.
Richmond officials were incensed after the match and are blaming Richardson's injury on the closeness of the boundary line to the fence.
If it had happened at Waverley or at the MCG or any normal-sized ground, he'd probably be playing next week.
But the AFL have acted very quickly. They announced late today that the boundary line at the SCG will be brought in by 1 metre. But it's little consolation for Richardson, who's expected to be out of action for the remainder of the season.
For Matthew Richardson, his hopes of a magnificent season, already well underway, were in tatters.
Nobody needed to remind Matthew Richardson today that football can be a cruel game.
It's pretty hard, but I mean, the first few hours are the worst. I'm sort of starting to get over it a bit now.
The star forward crashed awkwardly early in the first quarter and had to be stretchered off the ground. But he knew as soon as he landed, his knee was seriously damaged.
As soon as I hit the ground, I knew that it wasn't just a jar. It felt pretty bad. I knew that I'd done something pretty major, I think.
Footscray on a Sunday at the MCG in round 10 provided Richmond with its 900th win. More importantly, its 9th win of the season. Again, there were injuries to blight the occasion. The Gale brothers were casualties. Deere broke his nose, but an 11-point half-time lead was converted into a 5-goal win thanks to the inspiring play of best of field Paul Broderick and Duncan Callaway.
He's been a fantastic pickup, very professional, very astute about the game, and he just worked so hard around the midfield area. He had a sensational year last year, and this year mightn't be quite the equal of last year, but still he's been very effective.
The banner said it all. Now we expect some respect. Richmond's match against the West Coast Eagles was scheduled for Optus Oval in round 11. After 10 successive losses to the reigning premiers in the 90s, a question mark definitely hung over Richmond. In a blistering first quarter, the Tigers kicked 5-6 to a goal and never looked back.
Inboard, the run of Maxfield. Maxfield kicks on the run. Oh, that is a gem.
A 60-point win would be Richmond's greatest margin over the men from the West, a record score. The drought had ended. With 10 wins from 11 games, Richmond was still on top.
No one gave us much credit, even up until that stage. We hadn't beaten the Eagles before, and so we knew that this was a game that we had to beat them. And the style of play was just fantastic. The amount of tackles and smothers and all that sort of thing. So it was good.
After a week for State of Origin duties, Richmond settled back into the premiership race. It looked like a pretty easy game. 15th place Fitzroy. How wrong that proved to be. At three-quarter time, Richmond trailed by 22 points. Naish would kick 5 and Daffy 3. And with seconds to go, the Tigers were a goal down. Then, one of the most controversial moments of the season. Jeff Bruce took the ball out. It was ruled deliberate. To veteran Doug Hawkins' fury. While the Hawk was penalised 50, Matty Knights popped through the clincher to keep the Tigers in top spot. The record 11-1. After 4 weeks on top, co-MCG tenants Melbourne would knock the Tigers off their perch in round 13. A goal down at half-time, Richmond would lose by 11 points in front of 42,000.
Tigers have been rolled for only the second time this season.
One of the biggest games of the year, 85,000 on a July Sunday, justified the move from Optus to the MCG for the clash against Carlton, the side that had again moved to the top of the table. Justin Madden celebrated his 300th game in a game that lived up to its pre-match hype.
Nice to kick the goal. The Tigers are back with a second goal. Well done, Maxfield.
Up by a goal at half-time, Richmond trail by 2 points at the last change.
Enormous skill. Gets onto the left boot. It rolls. It bounces. Will it go through? Yes! Oh, great goal, Campbell.
But in the last term, the Blues moved away to win by 5 goals. A bitter blow for the Tigers would be the loss of Scott Turner. He was reported by field umpire Greg Scroop for striking Brett Ratton. He was suspended for 3 weeks, even though Scroop told the tribunal that he believed the action to have been accidental. Five days later, another huge test for the Tigers. 76,000 under lights at the MCG saw Essendon and Richmond produce arguably the game of the year.
Clear to Daffy. Daffy's snapshot. It'll clear the players. Has it been touched? I don't think so. The Tigers have got their second.
Off the ground by Long. Gets it to half forward. Prescott tackled by Hurd. Wanganeen Hurd. You'd back him. He is a gem.
Michael Long is the chaser. Bauer's little left foot kick. In front of Neal. Can control it. Chipping in Long. Handball. Mercedes caught. And blatantly caught. No free kick. Kick forward by Bauer. Into the pocket. Gatherers by Jurica. Just loses his footing, but able to get up quickly. Throws it onto his boot and scores the goal of the night so far.
Down by 5 points at quarter time, Richmond trailed by 2 goals at the long break. Only 2 points separated the teams at three-quarter time. It was one of the most controversial games of 1995. Richmond on the receiving end twice. Michael Gale had his collarbone dislocated in a clash with Peter Somerville. He clashed with Gavin Wanganeen, and that would be the subject of an AFL investigation. Wanganeen cleared of any wrongdoing.
Morgan's kick is a beauty. Gets O'Donnell. He was going to play on the Mercedes, called to play on. Chips it to Long. Bond comes in. Does it magnificently. Elliott couldn't control it. Dundas' little give to Bond. Here's a go. Bond to Maxfield. Go and kick the goal, Stewie. Straighten it up. Bang it home. It's a beauty. They're in front, the Tigers.
Stuart Maxfield had his jaw broken. Both Gale and Maxfield sidelined for weeks.
Doolan across the half-back line. A good kick. Essendon retained possession. The siren has sounded. And what a magnificent game of football. Ends in a draw. And a fair result. They have kicked 15-11 apiece. Essendon and Richmond. Look at Campbell, outstretched. The cramp on the Essendon player. And a drawn game, a fair result.
The end was dramatic, the 120th draw in AFL history. Essendon second for the season, and the looks on the faces of the players in the dressing room later told the story.
A camera Essendon have filming behind the goals captured the whole incident. Wanganeen attempts to shepherd off Gale, who then jumps up and fronts the former Brownlow medalist. They appear to push one another before Gale collapses in a heap. Wanganeen then becomes entangled with the Tigers' Matthew Rogers. The Bombers will also tell Martin Ahmad that the graze on Gale's forehead was caused by the players accidentally standing on his head while grappling. Essendon General Manager Roger Hampson, who viewed the tape today with football manager Danny Corcoran, is confident their man won't be charged.
I think it's really an Academy Award performance for he went down for so long. The videotape clearly shows that there's no substance whatsoever in the incident.
Meanwhile, Mr Ahmad has already met with Richmond's Michael Gale, Chris Bond and Matthew Rogers this afternoon at the Punt Road Oval. Have you learned anything that you didn't already know?
Oh, well, obviously I have, yeah. I've got the response from Richmond, and now it's up to Essendon, see what they say.
He will view the Essendon video and speak to Gavin Wanganeen later tonight before reporting back to the AFL tomorrow.
In 8 years, Richmond had never won in the West, and it looked as though the trend was going to continue against Fremantle in round 16. It was a bitter struggle all day.
Jericho races back. Gilbert went in hard. It's kicked forward for Richmond. It's bouncing by Tawney. Oh, great goal by Jason Tawney.
Down 4 points at the last change, the Tigers showed all their fighting spirit to roar home. None was finer for the yellow and black than Wayne Campbell. His 33 disposals had him unanimously best of field. The umpires strangely thought otherwise, ignoring him for nights in the Brownlow count.
Wayne Campbell, fantastic goal. Brilliant play by Campbell.
It was kind of different actually, because usually when you go to Perth, you're playing the Eagles, and so the feeling's always pretty down. So, you know, not nothing against Fremantle, but you know they had been below us on the ladder, whereas the Eagles usually are above us. So it was sort of fun to go to Perth this time.
From one of the gutsiest wins to one of the worst defeats. Optus Oval in round 17 saw Richmond pitted against a St Kilda side that was showing some late season form. A 45-point loss would relegate Richmond to third place. Under the MCG lights on a Friday night, Richmond accounted for Hawthorn for the second time in the season. Poor kicking for goal was again costly for the Tigers. 6-13 at half-time reflected that.
Inside half forward. Jericho's there with McGuinness. Could be a tough night for Scott McGuinness. Jericho, good effort! Oh, didn't miss by much.
The star for Richmond, well, how about Scotty Turner? Back after suspension, he kept Jason Dunstall goalless for only the 10th time in his 221-game career.
Now Matty Knights has it inside the 50. Back to the goal square. Jarman sits at the back. Off hands. It's a Richmond goal kicked by Rogers.
A key point for the Tigers was the form of Rogers. He kicked 4 in a 7-goal victory.
I don't think he's done that before. I don't think many fullbacks have actually done that, but it's amazing. You know, it's very hard on defenders when the side's not playing well, and when the midfield are very tight, and when we're pushing forward rather than the other side, it does make it a little bit easier on defenders. And I'm sure Scotty appreciates, you know, the side playing well. It just takes so much pressure off him.
Another Friday night game, this time against North, and with play like this from the Tigers, they soared to a 38-point lead in the third term. 51,000 were seeing Richmond at their very best.
The baseballer, Charles, inside 50. What a goal! It's hacked out of there by Richmond. Gale got a touch. It comes back to Brendan Gale. He knocks the ball on. That's the even performance. Campbell crashes through, gets it out wide. Daffy off the left. What a goal!
They also saw some of the most puzzling umpiring decisions of the season, some that plainly let North back into the game. Given just a whiff of victory, Carey lifted his ruse and Richmond fell short by 10 points.
I was really disappointed because we got to 38 points up, I think. And to lose from that position, you know, we had the whole weekend to stew over it pretty much because it was a Friday night game. It was just one of those things that, you know, you look back on and think, what if I had to kick this goal and things like that. So there was nothing much we could do about it.
Many teams felt the power of the Brisbane resurgence late in the year. Richmond was certainly on the end of a hiding. Despite 5 goals from Nick Daffy, the Tigers weren't in the game.
Good play by Daffy. Excellent football by Daffy. Onto the left foot, smothered off the boot. McLean is there. Oh, Jerica crashes his way through. That was excellent football. Daffy again on the right foot. He's a goal sneak. Nick Daffy has kicked it.
The margin, 77 points.
Looking right into the sun. And there's the siren on a red-letter day for the Brisbane Bears, where they've trounced Richmond by 77 points.
Meanwhile, Matty Richardson was overseas spreading the word.
How you going, kids? All right?
Bad knee or not, just one day off the plane from Australia, and Matthew Richardson is hard at training.
Get your arms, make sure they're really extended out. That's good work.
He's teaching the Chicago school kids about Australian rules. They know him already, have seen him on television, thanks to their gym teacher, Jeff Norris.
The Richmond club sent us a beautiful jersey from
Jeff introduced the game to his school 3 months ago. He was looking for something all the kids could play at once. In American football, they spend as much time on the bench as on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty surprised. A few of them have got a fair idea of how to market football. Good on you, girls. A few of them are a little bit rusty, but you can only just pass on a few hints to them and hopefully they'll get better.
Matthew says the biggest difference between the kids here and the ones back home, the Americans don't tell him what he did wrong last Saturday.
$70,000 arrived at the MCG for the round 21 clash with Collingwood, a vital one for both sides. Again, Richmond got the jump. Again, their wayward kicking in the blustery conditions proved costly.
Knights' little giveaway. Again, the Tigers charge the goal. Good kick.
Rogers to clean it up for the Tigers. Kicks one and finds Bullis. Bullis has got plenty of time now. Elects to bounce too early. Runs around his opponent. Gives it off to the Tigers running players. Deer. Back to Bullis again. Oh, good long handball to Daffy. Can they set something up now? Awkward kick for Charles. Oh, beautifully tapped to Maxfield. On his left boot. Has a ping and puts it through.
Knights has had a good quarter. To Kellaway. It must have been Prescott earlier. Kellaway's kick to centre half forward. A float, a lovely take though by Broderick. Liked his game, Scotty. Brings it across. Here's an open slather here. Maxwell can really hurt them. Left foot goes, kicks it. That's a beauty, Stewie.
In a frenetic opening, the Tigers kicked 4-11 to 3 behinds. It may not have been the perfect start, but it knocked Collingwood off its game. A 54-point margin at the final siren underlined the strength of Richmond's midfielders. Campbell, Broderick and Knights were all outstanding and scooped the Brownlow votes.
Kelly in the good. Bond. Broderick's been fantastic. Wonderful handball. Go and kick a goal, Campbell. Look at that. That's champagne footy. Bond away. That's it. Richmond will celebrate. Absolutely thrashed them, haven't they? 14 goals, 25 to 7-13, 109 to 55.
There was a few blustery conditions and we kicked very poorly early, but after that, before the game actually, we'd had a few doubters, so we needed a big strong win and there was a big crowd there and everything, and our midfield seemed to go very well. I think I got a few kicks for myself, and Matthew Knights did very well, and Paul Broderick, and it's just, we've been seemed to do that all year, where one of us can pop up and have a good game.
The mix of the final 8 relied on so many combinations. For Richmond to finish third, it had to beat Adelaide under the football park lights and rely on Carlton to beat Essendon. Both objectives were achieved. In the city of churches, Richmond kicked away again with a first quarter that netted the Tigers 7-2.
Can the Crows get up? Campbell plucks it out of the air. Has he done a Gary Ablett? It's very, very close, that kick from Wayne Campbell. And he's done it.
Again, Campbell would be sensational. His game was enough to have the footy bookmakers install him as a 5-2 favourite from the Brownlow medal ahead of Carey and Craig Bradley. Campbell would finish the season with 367 kicks, third in the competition.
For Richmond, it's gone straight to him though, and he's kicked another one. That's 5 in a row.
Big Justin Charles kicked 3 vital goals.
And he's kicked 1 so far. Now they've got 6 straight.
One sour note was the incident that saw Duncan Callaway have his nose rearranged. He would be back for the first of the finals the following week.
Actually, looking at the video clips, it was pretty hard to pin it on anyone. It didn't really come up. He was pretty lucky, the bloke who did it. I mean, it was no doubt there was a contact there that wasn't particularly above board. But I mean, it didn't come up on video, and I think they did investigate it and couldn't pin the rap on someone. But you just got to wear those things.
Richmond's first final since the 1982 Grand Final saw them return to the MCG and meet North Melbourne on a Friday night under lights. The Tigers had finished third with 15 wins and a draw. North sixth with 14 wins. In the 2 encounters during the home and away games, it was 1-1. Again, this would be a ripper.
On the left, brings it back, close. He's got it.
He gets it away from there, couldn't quite kick effectively though. Going back was Rogers, taken away by Tape. Geez, a good player, isn't he? Jamie Tape sets it up for Narendra, and Narendra's grab was inspiring stuff. Well done from a young man. His kick towards full forward. Oh, great grab by Nash. Rock Smith hangs his head in dismay.
Just when Richmond looked like getting on top in the second quarter, Wayne Carey put his mark on the game. In 4 minutes, he'd restored the balance. Nash and Daffy were potent up forward, but you couldn't help but feel the absence of Matty Richardson. While North had 5 goal forwards in Longmire and Carey, North had to rely on their smaller crummers to kick the goals. Richmond's 5-goal loss put them in line for a second semi-final showdown against Essendon.
But what a great win for North Melbourne. They're in with a big shot. Rock's quick kick. That's it. The Kangaroos have won.
I think we altered our pre-game routine a little bit, which wasn't the coach's fault. That was just purely us. We were a bit nervous and excited and all that sort of thing, and especially playing in a night game where we had to sit around all day. I think by the first quarter we played the game 3 times.
For the first time since 1944, Essendon met Richmond in a final, this time the second semi-final, and 88,000 packed the MCG to see one to remember. While Essendon jumped the Tigers early, the play of Matty Knights was inspirational. He'd kick 8 goals for the season. In half an hour, he kicked 3 of the best of his career.
Can he kick a goal? Matthew Knights! It's there! The Tigers have got there
9
first.
touches, Denham. Fantastic goal. 3-3 to 1 goal. Knights from the centre with 1 bounce. Takes O'Connor on. Could he squeeze another one? Let's go. He's close. He's got it. Sensational. That's his opponent, Denham.
You get hold of it in today's football, you really have to do as much as you can to keep hold of it. Struggle for possession around the middle of the ground. Gale, now Matthew Knights. Every time Richmond look as though they need something as a lifter, it's Knights. Can he kick his 4th, 3rd goal? He gets inside, well inside 50. This will bring the house down if you don't mind, umpire. It's a goal to Matthew Knights.
5 goals down at half-time, Richmond needed something to happen, and it surely did.
Contest in the pocket. Taken out of the air by Charles, is it? No, it's Turner.
Daffy at half-back. Kicks the ball to centre wing. Burke, set a quiet one. Broderick, normally good. Miss Maxfield, it was important. Now they cut it off. Turner gets it back. Maxfield out of sorts again. Alessio well played. Still well played. Prescott puts the tackle on him. Knights, handball didn't get very far. O'Donnell's down behind play. Here's Campbell through the centre. Little one to centre half. Well, they weren't looking, the Tigers. He gave it up. Hip and shoulder was okay. It goes forward. Nash is a great finisher. He surely will kick the goal. He has. They're back. They're back in business.
We'll wait for a report. He looks as though he may be all right. But, gee, that was a heavy knock. Grenvold misses it altogether. Kicked off the ground by Naish. He's been an important player. Turner back to Daffy. They get one here. Have a listen to this. Have a listen to this.
Scott Turner had been moved to the forward line. He clashed with Gary O'Donnell, who'd worn Wayne Campbell like a glove. Suddenly, Richmond looked alert and alive. Essendon could feel the game slipping away.
Marking contest. Naish, snapshot by Naish. He's coming around. It's a goal.
They're in front, Robbo.
Naish has kicked two.
They're in front.
A 5-0 third quarter inspired the Tigers. Up a point at the last change, they roared home.
How the dickens did Maxfield keep the ball in?
It was great effort by Charles too, just to go back and make the contest. He missed the mark. He was insistent in keeping the ball in the air, and that kick by Maxwell, as Robbo said, just outstanding.
Well, out of position was Bomber Thompson. He's kicking from 15 metres out. He makes no mistake. The Tiger fans are pretty happy about that.
Essendon has not kicked a goal in the second half. Remember, they didn't kick a goal in the last quarter last week. Charles to the goal square. In front, Rogers has got it. They trailed by 30 at half-time. They hit the front for the first time in the match, late in the third quarter. Rogers from 15 metres out lines them up and kicks a goal. They kicked 3 points from half-time, set shots from Salmon and Alessio. That's been their 3 scores since half-time.
Kick in by Bauer. Kick in was marked by Bauer, then to Campbell. Oh, Tate. Is he going to get a free kick? Yes. Just pushed out at the last minute. So everything happening now for Richmond. They're in front by 16 points. Kick by Tate will land 50 metres out. Good grab. The effervescent Charles. He's nearly 60 metres from goal, but he'll land it nearly in the square. Turner! Oh, he kicked it anyway. He got his left foot to it and kicked a goal. Scotty Turner's second goal.
Free kick against Essendon, and they've done it, the Tigers.
.37 in the last quarter sealed a 13-point victory, but the sight of John Northey waving his jacket and keeping a promise he'd made to his players that they could pull it off was what every Richmond supporter lapped up.
Richmond's popularity is growing by the day, not only with the Tigers' huge army of fans, but also with the media. Late this afternoon, the club took the unprecedented step of calling a special press conference, such as the demand for players and coach John Northey. And Super was still on cloud 9 following that miraculous win on Saturday.
Oh, look, you feel, you're on drugs or something. You could just walk on water or, you just float across the ground. I was, anyhow, and I felt very emotional about it myself.
The Tigers settled for a light run around the Fitzroy Gardens tonight, and the atmosphere at Punt Road is something else. Northey's enthusiasm is infectious amongst the players. And co-captain Matthew Knights has a simple message for Geelong: underestimate us and look out.
We're not here just to fill up the numbers. We want to take it the whole way if we can, and we'll start that by trying to do the job on Geelong this week.
The finals are an all-Victorian affair as the 4 cities prepare to follow their fortunes on Super Saturday. But it's Richmond which seems most excited, with the Tigers riding on a tide of enthusiasm, proving a merchandising bonanza.
My hat, got 3 posters, and a Richmond theme song.
On Bridge Road, hopes are the decorations will grow after Saturday. While it's a special time of the year for the fans who hope their season ends in a premiership, it also means a great deal to the men who are living legends of the game. Captain Blood Jack Dyer, Richmond Premiership coach, and Geelong's last Premiership coach, Bob Davis, got together on the eve of their team's clash.
And all we wish is, well, as far as because I'm a sportsman, that the best team wins. I don't know. I hope I'm not a sportsman. I gave that up 20 years ago. That's sportsman business.
Persistent rain greeted the Tigers when they arrived at Waverley Park for their preliminary final against Geelong. The park was in lush condition. The running Richmond expected to fare well against the heavily backed Cats. Rogers kicked the first goal of the match, but from that moment on, the season quickly slipped away.
Wigney up from half back, through the middle, surrounded by teammates. Looping hand pass over the top. This is Bauer. He can run to the 50. Needs a good finish. He settles from 45. Kick is on the way. It's offline. Still in play. Oh, Rogers. Or was it Daffy?
In recent years, the Cats had averaged 72-point wins over Richmond, and so it would be this day. Ablett sealed the game by half-time with a couple of typical marks and goals.
He's lost none of the magic.
Nothing went right. Michael Gale collected brother Benny. Wayne Campbell missed the ball and collected Paul Couch. And the Cats collected a grand final berth, the margin 15 goals. It was, however, one of the club's more memorable seasons. A year in which Matty Richardson had his burgeoning career tragically halted by a knee reconstruction, the same fate that befell skipper Tony Free. It was a year in which the Tigers made the finals for the first time since 1982 and gave their huge band of supporters something to dream of over the long summer months. And in a fitting finale, John Northey was named AFL Players Association Coach of the Year. 24 hours after the grand final, Northey was back in the news. The word was that he was leaving Richmond to take up a job coaching the Brisbane Bears.
At a hastily arranged press conference late this afternoon, Richmond President Leon Daphne went on the attack.
John Northey broke his contract. He has walked out on the Richmond Football Club. And he can say that he had tears in his eyes today, and he can say that the players had tears in their eyes, but he has walked out on us.
Earlier today, an emotional Northey left Punt Road fighting back tears.
Yeah, bloody hard, actually. Yeah.
How are you feeling, mate? I mean, what's your reaction? Can you feel shit? Senior players were informed of Northey's decision at what was supposed to be a secret meeting at the Hilton Hotel this morning.
We basically support John, and that we feel that there's good harmony at the club at the moment. We haven't had that for quite some time.
But Northey's demands for an extension of his contract beyond the end of next season and his request for a hefty pay rise were rejected by Richmond's power brokers.
Are you sad it's come to this?
Yes. Yep. Which I wasn't asking for too much. I don't think I was.
Since joining the Tigers in 1993, Northey has taken them from 14th to 3rd this year. But it's understood several key Richmond officials led a campaign to oust him as coach, while several key players didn't see eye to eye with him.
Those sorts of things don't help, but you need special people in special positions that give you all the support you need.
But it's comments made exclusively to 7 Nightly News by Northey's longtime partner Pam Shearer that grabbed a lot of the attention again today. Outspoken Richmond identity Mal Brown launching a scathing attack.
I don't rate Pam on the behaviour in other areas very highly anyway.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, I just don't think she conducts herself necessarily in the best interest of Richmond Football Club.
Nobody will stand up and check Brown. He's been a bully all his goddamn life. You can ask anybody in Perth.
A subcommittee headed up by Chairman of Selectors Tony Jewell will now search for a replacement, while Northey is expected to be announced as Brisbane coach tomorrow, in a deal rumoured to be worth close to $1 million over 4 years.
Richardson trying a clever little kick, which in a bench it worked. Daffy, have you done it again, Nick? You've done it again. Three on the back. Player allowed to go on. Bond shrugged the tackle. Kicks from 50 metres. High kick in towards Richardson, the acrobat. Kelly is caught. The ball spills free. Hassel a chance. He handles it like Grease light. Christensen smothered off the boot. This could result in a goal. Flicked round by Daffy. A very good kick by the Duck is a goal.
Kipman and Gale in the pocket. Left forward pocket for the Tigers. Bigley didn't get it very far. It's a goal by Maxfield. That's all right, isn't it? Squeezes it out. Maxfield. Probably could have done better. Broderick from the pocket. That's a good kick. Great goal. High floating kick. Up towards the direction of Edwards. Graham at the back. Discipline play. He punches it straight to Nash. Nash. Oh, no. Great kick by Nash.
He's on the boundary line. He sprints in the goal. If he's kicked that, that is a great goal. Tremendous goal.
Gale sets himself with the right hand and wins it down towards Prescott and Nash. There's a snap and there's a goal. What a beauty.
Back to Jakovic, a best at first, but that's one of his rare mistakes. Kicks into the man at the mark down there.
Got the mistake. It was a great smother beat.
Nash loves a goal. Left foot snap. Oh, what a goal it was! Sensational start times. Richmond free kick to be taken by Jamie Tate. In towards left half forward. Campbell to Knights. Inboard. The run of Maxfield. Maxfield kicks on the run. Oh, that is a gem.
To 21, Melbourne in front. Kick by Bullis. Brendan Gale. Well done by Primke. Nash, a snap and goal! What a ripper!
Marking contest. Nash, snapshot by Nash. He's come